Hi, my name is Akur, and I landed a job as a financial analyst after 1.5 years of struggling in this atrocious economy. And one of the ways that I think helped me land a job as a financial analyst was through completing projects. Projects are a great way to showcase your skills and experience without having direct work experience or education. As well as projects give you a lot of confidence if you are called for an interview and have technical questions because you've developed the hands-on skills developed through the projects. So with that, how do you pick projects for data analysis? So the general advice out there on YouTube is to just pick projects that interest you. I'm going to be honest, this is something that I did at first and something that I think you should avoid at all costs. Companies do not care about your interests, and if the work that you're doing is not relevant to the problems that they are trying to solve, it doesn't matter if you like the NBA or if you like food or if you like boats or whatever like that. If it's not relevant to the type of work that they're doing, it's going to be discarded. Instead, what you should be doing is picking a project in the niche of the companies that you are applying for. For example, if you're applying to a bank, do a banking data project, or if you're applying to healthcare, pick a healthcare related project. But if you're really confused or you're having a hard time finding data sets that are very relevant to where you want to apply for, in general, sales, marketing, and financial projects are probably the most relevant and probably have the most broad appeal to any industry or job post that you're applying for. And by this, I mean sales data. For example, most of these data sets have customer IDs, they have products that they're selling, regions that they're selling in, and a few other data points as well. But usually the analysis that you're going to be conducting is which products are most responsible for our highest amount of sales, or which customer segments drive the most sales, or what times of the year do we see the highest spikes in sales, which are our lowest and which are our lowest for the other segments as well. By answering these types of questions, they're usually the most relevant as compared to any other types of data out there, because most companies sell either a product or a service, and by you analyzing what does well and what doesn't is pretty much literally what every company needs. To find a data set, I would start by going onto Kaggle.com. It's basically an online repository of data sets that are free to download, and you can start analyzing them immediately. Google datasets as well as Data World are great datasets as well. You can filter all of these websites by specific niches that you want, and other people have also done these projects before. You can comment on them and reach out to them as well. But once you've found your dataset, do not start it. Before you even start doing a project, you need to outline your objectives. The objectives that you choose are basically relevant to the objectives that you would be solving in a real life case to the company that you are applying for. So make your objectives as relevant or as close to the type of work that you think you would be doing, or the work that is literally listed in the job description, and do that for your project. This is something that I was a little bit confused with at first, and I didn't know how to go about this. I would recommend starting with ChatGPT. Upload your entire data set into ChatGPT, have it look over it, and make it create 5 to 10 relevant objectives to the type of company or work that you want to be doing in the future, and make it create objectives that are very similar to that line of work. I think this is the best way to go about completing any sort of project if you've never done one before, because you can start to see the types of questions and objectives that a data analyst would actually solve on a day-to-day basis. Once you do enough in the future, you can kind of pick up patterns and start creating them on your own. But what's really good is that if you get stuck during the analysis phase on one of these questions, you can ask ChatGPT, hey, I'm stuck on this step or this question. How would I actually go about analyzing it? Or how do I get over this obstacle that you're facing? If you're going through the questions that it's already solved, it already has basically backed up answers as to how to solve each of those questions. Whereas if you come up with the objectives on your own, it'll be a little bit harder for ChatGPT to give you a direct and clear answer because it didn't come up with that objective on its own. From there, once you have the objectives, you can actually start doing the project. Typically, a project is broken up into 3 phases. The first phase is data cleaning, the second phase is data analysis, and the third phase is data visualization. I won't go into each of these steps too much, but basically data cleaning is just removing inconsistencies and bad data to make sure that you're working with accurate data, because this very much influences the results. Step 2, data analysis. This is where you actually solve the objectives and come up with the answers for, again, the questions that you are trying to solve. And thirdly, data visualization is simply visualizing with charts and graphs your analysis and the objectives that you've solved. Most of the time, and I've mentioned this before, you are not going to just be verbally saying your findings. You need to present it in a visual format that is easy to understand and easy to digest. Managers are going to look over it for like 5 to 10 seconds, and that's all the time that you get. But you need to have something to show for it, and you're not just saying it. And data visualization very much helps with that. And now lastly, once you've completed all of the objectives, you've completed the project, you've made your data visualizations, your charts and your graphs, what I recommend from here is open up a Google Doc, put down those questions that you have solved and put down your answers, but also in there, explain how you came to those answers utilizing the tool that you use for analysis, whether that was Excel, SQL, or Python. Answer those questions in this report. I would also include those charts or those graphs that you made from before and compile them into one really well detailed report. This basically shows not only that you did the project, but it explains what you did and what you learned and how it's relevant to the type of work that you would be doing for a company. And this is a great way to really showcase your skills, to show what you're doing, and to show that you actually know what you're doing because you've put in descriptions as to how you actually came up with these answers. From there, once you have it posted as an article on LinkedIn, put it on your resume as well. And when you actually apply to these positions, you can even put in your LinkedIn link in there. A lot of companies these days do look at your LinkedIn because it's a great way to actually show who you are as a person rather than just listing a bunch of stuff that everyone's exaggerated on their resume anyway. So if you have a great project that really catches their attention on your resume and they read through it on LinkedIn, you have a really good chance of actually getting a position because most people don't do projects for whatever reason. But one thing I do recommend is please do not watch this video and do nothing with it. I have seen many people with very low GPAs, with no experience, with no real education, get jobs that they want simply by completing highly relevant projects. I have seen it time and time again, and I very much do believe it has helped me land a position as well. Do not watch this video and do nothing with it. The more projects that you do, the better they will become, and you'll become more confident doing them, and you'll end up coming up with better projects in the future. By doing this process, it could very much change your life. As always, I hope you got a ton of value from these videos, and I wish you all the utmost success because there's plenty for all of us.